Trump's economic policies had a material effect on many Americans where they felt they were better off. And that's the difference.
Piers, a $50,000 tax credit for small businesses that are created, a $25,000 $25,000 to first-time home buyers, going after price gougers. I mean, there are actual policies here. Meanwhile, if you ask Donald Trump what his thoughts are on childcare, you're going to get a 2-minute rambling diatribe where he strings together words that alone may have some meaning, but together just sound like the unhinged, incomprehensible screeds of someone whose synapses may be firing, but aren't actually meeting him on the other side.
That was just a small snippet of a series of incredible clips of Brian Tyler Cohen shutting down Trump stooge Piers Morgan on his own show, and not just shutting him down, but he pretty much took over the entire show, taking down the other Trump stooge that was trying to push those MAGA talking points as well. And it was one of my favorite performances I've ever seen in a debate forum by Brian Tyler Cohen. And I am so excited to get into the rest of it and show you that clip of Brian just taking over the whole show. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting our channel and really means the world to me. Now let's just hop right back into it with Brian Tyler Cohen.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, that is surely indisputable. If you look at her positions in 2019, when she first ran for president, and compare them now, the number of not just flip-flops, just open, blatant U-turns is extraordinary. And one of the reasons she's not doing big interviews, if she can possibly avoid it, is she doesn't want people reminding her of this remarkable journey she's gone on from left-wing progressive to centrist.
Piers, what she said when she was running a primary campaign in the previous election is not how she would govern now when she's had the experience of 4 years being
we shouldn't have believed
the vice president.
We shouldn't have believed her.
It's that people have their positions when they're running primary campaigns in previous election cycles.
When was she lying to us, Brian, is my point. Should we have believed her in 2019? I mean, we're not talking about someone in their 20s. We're talking about somebody who's 60. So she was in her mid-50s and an American senator when she put these positions forward in 2019. Are we supposed to now accept that she was lying then, and that wasn't what she really means or believes? And then that comes to the issue of credibility. Or do we accept that now she doesn't mean what she's saying now? She just wants, as Natalie said via Bernie Sanders' interview, she just will do whatever it takes to win.
Piers, people run primary campaigns and try to figure out their lane in the Democratic Party, and their positions evolve over time when things change in this country. Right now, she's had the experience of 4 years as vice president, recognizing how to properly run an economy, how to properly protect healthcare and expand its access among Americans, how to properly make sure that we have common sense gun safety restrictions, how to properly actually pass legislation that Donald Trump pretended he would pass. You want to talk about evolving positions? Trump predicated his entire 2015 campaign, when he was running as a fake populist, on a jobs boom, on passing an infrastructure law, on having a healthcare reform bill that would make healthcare less expensive and less expensive, Piers. Hold on, less expensive, Piers, and more comprehensive. He didn't pass any of that. Not only did he not pass it, he didn't try. He used all of his political capital in office not to do any of those populist things that he promised when he was running for office, but rather to just pass a tax cut for millionaires and billionaires. That's what he actually cared about. And that's what he did when he actually had the power. So it's ironic that we're talking about what Kamala Harris said in a few months when she was campaigning in a primary. Donald Trump had the ability to actually govern that way, and he squandered it.
This attack that right-wing media continues to make on Kamala Harris falls so flat for several reasons, and Brian did such a great job outlining them. The first of which is Donald Trump is a pathological liar who always flip-flops on positions for what is ever politically advantageous in that given moment. We know he doesn't care about best serving the American people, so his flip-flops are always politically motivated. We see right now he's making vaping a big issue in his campaign, and why is that? Well, it's because he's getting big support from the vaping lobby, and the same with cryptocurrency. That's what he cares about. But Kamala Harris, her positions evolve because she knows what's best and wants to evolve with what policy is going to best support the American people. And that is the complete difference here, and that is why that attack continues to fall so flat. And the same sort of thing can be seen with this attack on Kamala Harris saying that she's not going to win this election, which is a take that Brian definitely differed on and shut down right here.
Look, it's going to be a very tight race. Every pollster I talk to says it's going to be right on a knife edge, right to the conclusion here, which is not unexpected given the way the last few elections have gone. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, do you genuinely believe Kamala Harris is going to win?
Yes, I do believe that Kamala Harris is going to win. I mean, look, we all have limited information that we're going by right now. All we can really look at is the polls, is the momentum. At that point, we try to glean what little information we can. But I think that what I said at the top of this segment still stands, which is that Democrats are the underdogs. Donald Trump does have the incumbency advantage to some degree, even though he's not the direct incumbent, but was prior to this. And I think that it's incumbent on Kamala Harris to do what she's been doing, which is to reach as many people as humanly possible, to continue crisscrossing all of these swing states. She's done about 35% more rallies, her and Tim Walz together, 35% more rallies and events than Donald Trump and J.D. Vance has, which I think may actually be a smart strategic move by the Trump campaign, considering every time he goes out on stage at either a rally or an interview, he decides to open his mouth and insert his foot.
Out of interest, Brian, who do you think is running?
Brian is so spot on, saying something that we do on this show a lot, and that is, in any instance in which Donald Trump is opening his mouth, we know it is either going to go badly quickly or it is going to instantly backfire. Those are never good situations for Donald Trump or his campaign, but for some reason, the media would only exclusively cover verbal miscues or slip-ups when they were coming from President Biden. And Piers Morgan, for some reason, this was a conversation about Kamala Harris, but wanted to redirect it to President Biden. And Brian Tyler Cohen did such a great job shutting this narrative down. We have to check it out.
We're writing endless columns and saying stuff on air that he clearly was not up to running the country. And eventually the Democrats admitted, actually, you know what? We can't defend it anymore. The debate was a debacle. He's out. They stabbed him in the back. And now it looks to me like America's rudderless. But don't tell me that I can't cast aspersions over these clips, given the nonsense that went on for 2 years.
Given the fact that Jill is talking about an initiative at a cabinet meeting and talking about the fact that Joe Biden didn't know run of show at one of the thousands
Why would he
of
articulate that so loudly, so embarrassingly?
Donald Trump in his right mind thought that Tim Cook's name was Tim Apple and thought that Erdogan was the president of Hungary. So when are we going to do segments on that? Just because you don't know every single detail. Here's the thing that and I know that you don't like to call yourself right-wing media, even though all of your framing is right-wing.
I'm not.
Here's the thing that I don't understand is that every time is that Donald Trump has done the same thing, if not leagues worse than all of the small mistakes and errors that Joe Biden makes, but we never talk about those because it's just baked into the cake that Donald Trump is going to say crazy things.
Well, no, it's not that. It's not that.
And because he's graded on such a curve in both this country and international media more broadly, it just comes and goes like a fart in a hurricane when he says that the president of Hungary is Erdogan, for example.
Yeah, but you're missing.
I really love the point that Brian is making here and just the broader scheme of it all, that President Biden was so belittled by the media. They looked at every little thing he said with such a fine-tooth comb because he did have so much success in his presidency that they couldn't say anything about his policy or his success because, again, look at the Biden-Harris economy right now. It's booming. Look at the way that we haven't just recovered from COVID, but are surging after because of President Biden. And so they can only criticize him for the, gaffes that pop up once in a while, those verbal miscues. But of course, Donald Trump is such a mess all the time that the mainstream media just really moves past it. And it's something that we can't do. We have to continue to call it out. And Brian did such an incredible job doing that, but not just with Piers Morgan, with the other Trump stooge on the panel. And I want to check that out.
So when Joe Biden stands up there and forgets the Prime Minister of Modi's name, the reason why it resonates so soundly with American people is because we're tired of being lectured by the so-called elites and experts in the room, all those very same people who told us that if President Trump became president, the world, the world order, the kind of neo-globalist world order would just automatically collapse. It didn't. That's what happened. It was all projection. That's what's happened under Joe Biden.
Brian.
I think it's rich. First of all, for somebody aligned with Donald Trump, who has been kowtowing to the world's autocrats and dictators, to lecture anybody on the left about the world order. If Donald Trump gets in power, the first thing he's going to do is cower in the way that he did in his first term to Vladimir Putin, Xi, Erdogan, and any of the other autocrats who he can have pet him, because that's what he likes to do. Second of all, I think it's also ironic that there's this claim that, for example, the Biden-Harris administration hasn't governed effectively in this country. We have 16 million jobs added. We have the strongest economy in the entire world. We have the lowest unemployment rate in half a century. We have a record high stock market right now. And all of the legislation that the Biden-Harris administration was able to pass stands in stark contrast to what Trump was able to pass.
But why is it? So why,
from the
Brian?
American Rescue
Brian,
Plan,
Brian,
the Inflation Reduction
Brian,
Act, the gun safety law, the
Why is it,
infrastructure
Brian?
law.
And we need to do that more. We need to push back on their lies, and we are certainly going to be doing it on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to go an extra step further in supporting the show, you can click that join button and become a monthly member. As a college student, it goes a long way. And until next time, I'll see you soon.